I'd like to call the Butte-Silver Bowl Council of Commissioners regular meeting for Wednesday, March 1st, 2023 to order. Clerk, can we please have roll call?
11 present, 1 absent.
11 present, 1 absent. Please note that Commissioner Fisher is absent from tonight as he's with family. His mother-in-law passed away, and so our prayers are with his family. Moving on to the prayer and pledge. Commissioner Sorge, could you lead us, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive, fellow commissioners. Almighty God, we implore you, look upon us and guide us this night as we make decisions which will greatly affect our community of Butte-Silver Bow. Direct our thoughts, words, and deeds so that we please you and best serve our fellow citizens. Amen.
Next, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I move to approve the minutes from the February 15th, 2023 regular meeting.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay. 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. We don't have any items that are not addressed on the agenda, so I'll start with the Chief Executive's report. I just kind of want to report I was over at the legislative session again today. We have the Mayor and Chief Executives Forum going on with the Montana League of Cities and Towns, and we were at the Capitol as they are going through their Senate and House committees and stuff is fast and furious. They're probably still going hard as we speak today. A lot of bills are going through and being ratified, and then transmittal will be Friday, meaning that they'll change from one side to the other. And so it's really important that we continue to pay attention how it affects our local government. There's a lot of bills in there that are about local control and the state looking to put on regulation potentially locally onto the individual governments. And I feel very fortunate that we have a charter form of government, that we're able to set our own rules in a lot of ways, that we were able to follow our own charter instead of having them be able to dictate to us. But there's a lot of things there that they're still going to be able to do. Don't get me wrong, everything that's going on there is not bad, but there's a lot of things that could affect us if it's to move forward. And so it's really important for us to pay attention. I will be over there. I go over first thing in the morning. I'll be there at 7:30 tomorrow morning and on Friday as well. And so meeting with our local legislators and continuing to do that as well. So we'll pay attention and make sure that we're present and letting them know our position here locally for the government. And I know that our department heads and we're working diligently. Danette helped me with what our mill value and things are if they were going to start putting caps on what local governments could do on taxation locally on our local mills, and just there's a lot of things happening. Other things I kind of want to talk about, the demolition grant program that we've got going on. I wanted to show you that we are going to put an online application on there where people are going to be able to go online. They could go onto our website and be able to go through the process to do what we would like to have done on the program. And so I kind of want to touch on this a little bit, that I know we want as simple as we possibly can, but I want to kind of give you guys a scenario of what we went through just recently. I'm not going to talk specifically about a property, but there are things that happen when a property becomes with a property owner in such a shape that we have to take legal action against them or go to take some legal action. So we have to get a search warrant search warrant. When that happens, we have police, fire, community enrichment, health, historic preservation, public works department, all there to figure out what's going on with the property, and then from there we have to take action after that. So I just want people to understand that there is a process going on, especially when we do not have a willing participant with the property owner, what it takes to do that. And so I know that, as an article in the paper says, that the bureaucracy of this all, there's a lot of things that, as I said, I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed as we go through this. So this is as simple as a process that we can put out there. The committee, I appreciate the commissioners on their remarks to us, and we look through that. Commissioner Shea, I know that you recommended that we put the commissioners as the part where it goes through. Our charter does say that the chief executive should do that. What I'm going to do, though, so that we make sure that we have participation, that I will send out to everybody, whoever wants to be a part of that everyone has ample opportunity to do that. We thought about that if it was somebody within their district, that the commissioner from that district should be on that. But if we had multiple demolition grants, then would we be pitting one commissioner against another commissioner saying this one needs to be done in my area? So we want to make sure that we do this as fairly as we possibly can, and expedite this as much as we possibly can. It'll go to a clearinghouse, so that everybody that's part of that committee will get those grants right away, the grant applications right away, so that they could start looking at them. Then we'll pull that group together, and then we will evaluate all of the criteria. I think there was a little bit of a misinterpretation on that the point system meant that was the percentage that the person was going to get funded. We do not have limitations on the funding that would go along with that. That doesn't have really anything to do with it. That's just the percentages that helps us in the grading process of who should get these grants. We left the government aspect into that because of the fact, like I said, when we just had to do a search warrant on that, if we end up having to take legal action and we need to be able to take down a building, that the government would be able to put in for these grants as well to help expedite that as well. And so all of those things were looked at as we're evaluating the criteria. And so I do appreciate the participation that the commissioners have had on that. We have until next Wednesday where we'll bring it back to the committee of the whole, where it's going to be kind of formalized, and I will, if you have any more comments to what that process will be, please send any more comments to me. But we want to get this going. The $225,000, I know that it's the intent that we all work together to get something done. I think that it has identified some things that we needed to work together, but I want you to know that there's been a lot of things being done that people didn't realize were happening, including myself, from various departments working together on these. So I'm proud of the work that everybody is putting into this, and the priority that all of the different departments are working together to get this done. So with that, there's other good things happening in Butte other than just talking about those things. There's a lot of a lot of things. Businesses opening back up. The M&M is opening back up. There's a lot of other activity, and so things that we can be really proud of in our community. And instead of waiting at the very end here, I know that Commissioner Shea asked me to make an announcement that the Laborers Rally will be this Saturday at 1 o'clock over at the Carpenters Union Hall. So so that everyone can put that on their calendars as well, because there is a push to with right to work too. So I know that our laborers unions want to really work together on that to show a united front there as well. So anyone that could be there, please attend if you can. All right, with that, I'm going to close the chief executive's report, and we will move on to any public comment on any item on the agenda tonight. Please come forward, state your name, address, and what item you'll be speaking on the agenda tonight. Seeing none, we'll move on to Section 1, bid openings, public hearings, and our presentations. Looks like we have 3 bid openings. County Attorney Joyce, could you give us proof of publication on the 3?
Mr. Chief Executive, there is proof of publication for all 3 bid openings, and all appear to be in order.
Thank you, County Attorney Joyce. Moving on to communication number 2. I better put my glass on, that's why I bring them. 2023-73, Mark Neri, Public Works Director, requesting Council Commissioners to schedule a bid opening on March 1st, 2023 for the Excelsior Avenue reconstruction project. Director Neri.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioners. It looks like we have 3 bids for the Excelsior Street project. The first one is from Hoffman's R&M Services in Butte.
And Mr. Chief Executive, there is a bid bond in the amount of 10% from a licensed surety company that appears to be in order.
Thank you, County Attorney Joyce.
Chief Executive Gallagher and Commissioners, the total on this is $940,229 even. $940,229.
$940,229.
Yep. The second bid is from Jeffrey Contracting in Butte.
Mr. Chief Executive, there is a bid bond in the amount of 10% from a licensed surety company that appears to be in order.
Thank you, County Attorney Joyce.
Chief Executive Gallagher and the Commissioners, the total on this is $929,320. $929,003.20.
$929,003.20.
The third bid is H&H Contracting in Butte. It's going too smooth.
Mr. Chief Executive, there is a bid bond from a licensed surety company in the amount of 10% that appears to be in order.
Thank you, County Attorney Joyce.
Chief Executive Gallagher and the Commissioners, the total on this is $1,021,835 even. $1,021,835 even.
$1,021,835.
Yep.
Thank you. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to refer this back to the Public Works Department for a recommendation back to this body.
We have a motion and a second to refer back to Public Works Department. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Commissioner Sorich, I don't think yours went. Thank you. And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yeas, 0 nay.
11 yeas, 0 nay. Motion passes. Motion passes. Moving on to communication number 2023-96, Mark Neri, Public Works Director, requesting Council of Commissioners approval for a bid opening on March 1st, 2023 for the 2023 sidewalk program. Director Neri.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Commissioners, we have 1 bid for this, and it's H&H Contracting in Butte.
And Mr. Chief Executive, there is a bid bond in the amount of 10% from a licensed surety company that appears to be in order.
Thank you, County Attorney Joyce.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioners, the total on this is $141,688 even. $141,688 even.
$141,688. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to refer this back to the Public Works Department for a recommendation back to this body.
We have a motion and a second to refer back to the Public Works Department. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to communication number 2023-97, Mark Neary, Public Works Director, requesting Council Commissioners approval for a bid opening on March 1st, 2023 for the 2023 asphalt supply for Public Works. Director Neary.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Commissioners, we have two bids on this. The first one is from Hollow Contracting in Butte.
And Mr. Chief Executive, there is a bid bond in the amount of 10% from a licensed surety company that appears to be in order.
Thank you, County Attorney Joyce.
Chief Executive Gallagher and the Commissioners, the total on this is $703,500 even. $703,500 even.
$703,500.
The second bid is from Jeffrey Contracting in Butte.
And Mr. Chief Executive, there is a bid bond in the amount of 10% from a licensed surety company that appears to be in order.
Thank you, County Attorney Joyce.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioners, the total on this is $720,000 even.
$720,000 even. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to refer this back to the Public Works Department for a recommendation back to this body.
We have a motion and a second to refer back to the Public Works Department. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. That went smooth, Director Neary. That was probably the smoothest bid opening I think we've had so far. Good job. Moving on to Section 2 consent agenda, A 1 through 4 and B 1 through 31. Do we have any friendly amendments and or segregations? Seeing none, Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to approve Section 2 of the consent agenda, A 1 through 4 and B 1 through 31.
We have a motion and a second to approve tonight's consent agenda. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Motion passes. Moving on to Section 3, ordinances and resolutions introduced to judiciary. We have two, resolution number 2023-07 and resolution number 2023-008 for your reference. And next we'll move on to Section 4, ordinances and resolutions for emergency suspension of the rules. We have one tonight, resolution number 2023-06. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move for the suspension of the rules for the purpose of passing resolution number 2023-06 by waiving subsection 7 of Rule 36 of the Rules and Order of Business of the Council of Commissioners, thereby having it considered for advanced passage without reference to the Judiciary Committee.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yeas, 0 nay. 11 yeas, 0 nay. Motion passes. Moving back to resolution number 2023-006. Clerk, please read the caption. Stumbling.
A resolution amending the City County of Butte-Silver fiscal year 2023 budget after conducting a public hearing at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Council of Commissioners in accordance with Section 7-6-4006 MCA, appropriating unanticipated revenue from the United States Department of Justice Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant to the Butte-Silver Law Enforcement Department and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to place resolution number 2023-06 on final reading in passed, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second to place on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yeas, 0 nay. Motion passes. Moving on to calendar and other meeting events. Please note all the dates of the meetings that are coming up. Next, we'll move on to any public comment on any item not on the agenda tonight. If you'd like to speak on any item not on the agenda tonight, please come forward, state your name, address, and what you'd like to speak to us about. Seeing none, I just want to remind you again, the rally for the labor unions on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Any other comments from commissioners? Seeing none, I will take a motion to adjourn. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signal by aye. Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Nice, quick. Thank you.